Hello and welcome to another monthly reading for people born in December. My name is Dr. Karen and I do colour readings, amongst other things. Each month I attempt a general reading based on the colours that are selected for you, and hopefully they will give you some guidance as to how to manage some of the turmoil that occurs in everyday life. If you're new here, you're in for something that you've never experienced before. On the other hand, if you've been here before, welcome back. I'm very, very pleased to see you. I'd like to hear, though, from you in the comments section as to how well, or if not well, these readings are going for you. This month, I'm going to try something a little different, because colour readings are only as good as the questions that are being asked. So let's get into it for you, shall we? This month, I'll be taking a card from the Angel Therapy Oracle, which is made by Doreen Virtue, a famous name within the Oracle community. All right, December babies. The people born in the month of December, let's now choose an Angel Oracle card to help guide you towards what is necessary for you to get through February comfortably. That one will be it for the time being. And now I want some colours. The people born in December, to look at what energy they brought with them from 2025, what they brought with them from January 26, where they're going in February, and also finally what the underlying energies are. So we have one which is brown on green, and then we have cyan on purple, and then I have yellow on pink, and the underlying energy is brown on purple. All right then. Well, what you've brought with you into 2026 from last year. Inside yourself, there's been a fair degree of restlessness. You wanted to make changes. You wanted to have new opportunities to find out how life could be better somewhere else. And in the real world, you actually made some pretty careful plans. You determined what you wanted. You went about obtaining that. You step by step, one step after the other, you worked through your plan and you have managed to accomplish quite a lot. But it hasn't actually reduced this desire for more change, for greater differences, for new pastures, new challenges. So that's what you brought from 2025. Looking at what you've got in 2026 in January, you find that this desire for new changes has actually created a lot of disruption in your life. Purple internally means that things have suddenly not always gone the way that you wanted them to, or if they have, it didn't last for very long, and then suddenly there's been something that's come along to disrupt it. And in many ways, it's been a lot of fun because that disruption in the real world came through as something where you feel as though you're exactly where you want to be. Life is good. So in January, things have settled down. Whatever those disruptions were, whatever it is that you needed to determine for yourself in terms of making changes to your life and your experiences, have led you to a position where you're feeling quite good about everything. Where does that take you in February, though? Because in February, we now have yellow over pink. Now, when pink appears internally, it means that you've run out of energy. It means that you become vulnerable. There may be a potential illness on the way, but it could also be that suddenly you find yourself feeling fairly unloved and you want that back. And in the real world, what's happened is that the yellow means that you're now having to learn how to love yourself, how to look after yourself, how to be the person that you want to be simply by taking on new information, remembering how you looked after yourself in the past. You're feeling vulnerable, but in the real world, you are now able to move towards a situation where you can remember how to look after yourself and now are learning to love yourself again. The underlying energy for all of this is actually interesting because it's a mixture of what you brought in the real world, both in the same position from 2025, that is, these ambitions, these goals, these practical skills, but also what you needed, what you found yourself having to deal with, and that is the disruption, the abrupt changes, the things crashing down around your head and then having to be rebuilt that occurs from January of this year. So between those three color combinations, you put yourself in a situation where you are having to build something new, something novel, to create some sort of satisfaction for yourself because you are the one that does the work and it's your life that's being disrupted. So how do we deal with this in a way that enables you to learn to love yourself, but without having to make yourself feel totally uncomfortable? And for that, we need the colors that are missing. In the past, I've actually said that you need to choose from the colors that are missing, the one that's most appealing and then the one that's least appealing, because these are guides as to where to go. So let's have a look at them. There's no black or white or red, but you do have yellow. You have green. You don't have blue, but you do have that, or but you do have brown. Yes, there's no orange. There's no grey. There is purple. There's pink, and you also have cyan. So these colours here signify what it is that you are currently working with. And what you are working with is leading you down a path through whatever it is you're going to be experiencing in February. But it's these colours here that will either help or hinder, because these are skills you have available to you, but are not yet using. So let's examine these in more detail. If you're dealing with black, if black is the colour that you choose as being most appealing, then what this indicates is that you need to take time out. You need to stop and withdraw from whatever it is that you're engaged in. Spend some time examining your own self. What is it that you really, truly need and want? What is it that you are capable of doing? Get in touch with your inner self. On the other hand, if this is the color you most dislike, then those things that you are doing, if you like the color, are the very things that you are not doing and are trying to avoid. Black as a disliked color is all about disengaging from everything. It's about becoming depressed and having to overcome that depression. It's about not facing the dark night of the soul in your life. It's not facing the things about yourself that you dislike. It's pretending that you can cut them off, shut them away, and that they don't actually exist, but they do find their way to the surface. So it's a need for taking time out to examine what it is that you need to do in order to overcome that tendency towards a negative outlook. On the other hand, or the other extreme, if you like, is white. If white is the color you most like, then this is the color associated with dealing with reality. So if any of these issues here fail, then the next thing you do is become curious about what actually are the facts in a specific situation. Not alternative facts, not unrealities, but actually what does happen when certain things occur. what are the facts in life. And in doing so, you actually find yourself getting away from the issues that are worrying you here, because you're actually escaping them. Whereas here, it's a closing off. This is a getting away from. If at the same time, white is the color that you least like, then what you are saying to yourself is that I'm not curious about anything. I don't care about facts. I can create my own. So this is the alternative facts set. It also means that you are in dire need of a flash of inspiration and enlightenment, but you refuse to look in that direction. You don't want to know what the truth is. You don't want to know what real experience is. So in a way, you are shutting yourself off just as much as you are with black. But it's a shutting yourself off in black. It's a shutting yourself off because you need time to recuperate. With white, it's shutting yourself away from the things that you need to face up to. And then we have red. If red is the color that you most like, then it's all about being in charge, being the boss, setting the rules, making the life paths for other people as well as for yourself. It's a very powerful color if you like it, but there's always a warning associated with red, because red says stop. It says reconsider. Red is impulsivity. If things aren't working for you here, then do you really want to make an impulsive decision, do some sort of impulsive activity that will lead you potentially into spilling blood? It's a danger signal. So be careful if you like it. If you dislike it, then it's all about repressed frustrations, anger, rage, and inability to be in control of your own life. Repressing those feelings or denying that they exist can be an extremely dangerous thing for you, because eventually they do leak out, eventually they do come to the fore, and when they do so, you often have to face consequences that you really hadn't planned for or even in your remotest vision desired. Now, if blue is the color you're dealing with, blue as a color most liked is all about organization and nurturing. It's getting your ducks in a row. It's making sure that everything is where it should be. There is that your life is one sequence of activities after another in an orderly fashion. As a color that's most disliked, blue, on the other hand, is about restriction. It's about do as you're told, get on with the job, don't complain, shut up. Those sorts of issues are either enforced upon you, or you are enforcing them upon yourself or those around you. It's a case of you need to settle yourself down to nurture yourself, but are you in fact capable of doing that? As a most liked color, it's all about nurturing others. As a most disliked color, it's about the need to nurture yourself. And then we have orange. If orange is the color you're dealing with, as a color that is associated with what you most like, then it's all about being confident in any situation whatsoever. It's being sociable. It's getting out there amongst people and having fun, being able to deal with any crisis or calamity in a calm and assured manner. On the other hand, if it's a color that you don't like, then orange is all about feeling a lack of confidence, having no courage, no confidence or assertiveness, ability to be able to stand up and defend yourself, much less manage anybody else's needs. So orange as a color that is disliked is often associated with your need to overcome a crisis that may probably and very likely not be of your own making, but it's also needing to stand up and be counted when it counts. And that is something that often is very, very difficult to do for people in our society in the West. We tend to be rather rules-based. And finally, we have grey. Now, if grey is a colour that you most like out of those that are missing, then it's all about your ability to be able to walk the middle path between extremes of right and wrong, good and bad, conflicting ideas and demands, and being able to be unobtrusive and walk that path without upsetting anybody. On the other hand, if it's the color that you most dislike, then it's all about indecision and confusion and the inability to make choices. Now, that can be a very difficult path for you because often choices, if we don't make them ourselves, will be put upon us by others. We won't have choices to make. So it's a color that can be extremely difficult either way, whether you like it or dislike it. So, which of these are you likely to choose as most liked or most disliked? And whichever it is, pop those into your life because they will make a difference to the way in which you approach the issues that will inevitably get you to wherever this is leading you in February. Let's now have a look at the angel oracle. And for that, I will need my glasses. So what does it have to say? It says integrity. Align your actions so that they match your values and inner knowingness of what's right for you. Interesting, because integrity comes with the truth of black and white and being able to walk that middle path between extremes. Maybe there's a hint there for you. All right then. It's been a slightly different way of dealing with the color reading. But as I said, it's all about the questions that are asked, which brings me to an offer that I made some time ago and no one's taken me up on it, which is if you would like a personal color reading with me, be prepared for some surprises, then please contact me through my email address that I'll leave in the description below this video. I'm not charging for it, and I will take the first 10 people that bother to apply, and they will get a free color reading. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to comment on it. It'll certainly be private. I will record them, and I will allow you as the only person to see them to let me know what you think. Until we meet again next month for another set of color readings, and I might change the system again, depending on the questions I want to ask. May the colors that you choose help guide you to where you need to be, as well as where you'd like to be. Until then, bye.